Hello and welcome to Mark's Workbench. Thank you for coming back and looking at my next video. Today I'm going to be making a framing saw or a bow saw. I've prepared on my table saw some cuts of cherry which is going to make the main part of the saw. One of the issues I have is that the cherry pieces that I had are too short for the length of blade. I've bought a 600mm blade. So the centerpiece of the saw I will need to join together, and the way I'm going to do that is with a scarf joint, which I've never done before. So anyway, enjoy and let's get on with the build. So this is the biggest challenge as I see it for this project. I need to join these two pieces of cherry together, end grain to end grain. Now I've watched quite a few different YouTube videos and I've seen these sort of joints done before. They're called a scarf joint, and I've seen lots of different ways of laying them out and actually cutting them and doing them. They're normally done on larger pieces of timber. They're quite often used in timber framing, but basically you cut out part of one side on one end and you cut out part of the other side on the other end. You join the two and then use a piece of timber between the two boards to pin them together, a couple of wedges. I'm going to be using walnut for the wedges, and I'm just laying out the boards here so that the cuts come first time round, and I don't have any problems. Anyway, back to the build. So here I'm using my Stanley Sweetheart chisels to remove the waste. I'm being very careful and watching how the grain splits with each of these to make sure it doesn't run down and into or past the cut, and just making sure that it runs in parallel to it. I bought these chisels a little while ago and absolutely love them. They need a little bit of work to sharpen them and get the backs flat, but they've proven to be really nice set of chisels. The video is obviously on fast forward at this point. I don't normally hammer at this speed, but yeah, these chisels have been great for pairing, and great for all the work that I've done with them so far. And they don't take too much to keep a good edge on them, too much extra work afterwards. So this was my first chance at checking how well the joints would come together. When I've watched these videos done by other people, there's always a bit of fine-tuning needed at the end, and my joint for its first go was exactly the same. There was some little bit of gap at one end there that you can see, but I needed to mark up where I was going to be cutting the joint to put the two wedges through that would then lock the joint together. So that's what I've marked here. Now I'm bringing the two joints together and checking the alignment for the slot that I've just cut through, and I have these two wedges that I've made out of walnut, and the idea is one wedge goes in one side and then the other wedge comes in on the opposing side, and by tapping them together they slide against each other, expanding the gap through the center of the scarf joint, which then locks the scarf joint together. So I'm just trying it out, dry run, making sure that it'll expand properly, and then I'll have a few tweaks later to finish the joint off, but this is my first chance to see how it fits. I'm quite happy with the joint. It seems to be holding together, and the method that it's locking against each other seems to be working, and the joint seems to be coming together nicely, but there's a little bit I need to do.
Just learnt a lesson. Keep an eye on the camera. Card reader was full, so it stopped recording, so I don't know how much we've lost, but we'll carry on now. So this is the second handle. I've done the first one and I've traced around it to get the profile for the second one, so I'm on with this now.
This video has been recorded over 2 days, which is what it took me from beginning to end to make the saw. At this point I'm just laying out and checking the layout for the blade and the centerpiece, and figuring out where my cuts have got to be and the tenons have got to be for the center. I'm going to break this video into 2 parts, so we're approaching the end of part 1, and then we'll pick up where I left off in part 2 and finish the saw off. I've learnt a lot during the making of this, especially about videoing. and how much extra time it takes to make sure you get the shot set up properly and that everything's recorded, and obviously it's something you don't want to go backwards and have to remake things just to get them on the video. So the use of multiple cameras has been very helpful. If you've enjoyed the video so far, please click like and subscribe, or leave me some comments at the bottom if you've seen things that you think I could improve, changes to my process or the way that I'm doing things. Please comment. I would love to learn as much as possible. I look forward to interacting with you again in part 2 of this saw build. In the meantime, stay safe, happy woodworking, and see you all again soon. Bye for now.